Jeff, how's it going?
This is probably the most exciting week of the year.
It's here.
Yeah, it's
and
here.
it's almost gone.
I don't want it to go quite yet.
Yeah, me neither.
I feel like I've had a lot of moments of aha and oh my goodness, and those kinds of things, but I want that moment of that was so satisfying that I've had enough. I got to walk away from it.
How long would you say you've been preparing for this meeting?
Yeah, I think
100 years.
Well, the staff, AMS staff is preparing for this. Obviously 20 years ago they signed the contract, right, to have this convention center, something like that. At least 20 years ago, it feels like.
Are you serious?
Dick Hallgren signed it. So that's a long time ago. So first of all, the conference itself is many years in the making, and I remember for years looking at the schedule of upcoming venues, thinking, "Oh my goodness, we're going to be in Boston." I love Boston, so that's one good reason, but also it just seemed like that's so momentous because that's headquarters city, and it's like coming back in a really momentous way for the 100th. So. Yeah, so it's been a long time. And then the whole idea of a centennial has been on my mind for the last 7 or 8 years, at least. In part because with the bulletin of the AMS, we've been thinking for years about how we want to change it to be a little more directly serving the kinds of things we're trying to do in communicating across different disciplines, different specialties, different types of people who join AMS. They need some way of communicating with each other. And I always felt like we're doing it, but we know how to do it better. Let's do it better. And it's been years in the making. So that's part of the centennial that I've been looking forward to as well. So this date's been circled on my calendar for, as I said, many years. But the actual preparation for this particular week, over a year for many people, for the AMS president, right? Over a year in the making, planning all the different sessions, and then getting down not only the staff, fixing up every little detail and what the schedules and the rooms, and it's an amazing amount of work. They're amazing how smooth these conferences are, considering how much work and how many details go into it. So that alone, I think, was great. I don't think anyone thought 6,000 people were going to be here. I think they dreamed about it.
That was a record, right?
Yes, a record. I mean, 4,000, yeah, we were pretty sure. 5,000, we knew that was a possibility, and we were excited about that. But 6,000 is really exciting, and more than 6,000 people are here. That's just how many people are registered. There are a lot of people who are part of the meeting who don't actually even register. So that's really that's a lot of tireless work in the background for the meeting staff especially. And then for the communication staff in the last few months, just looking over the program and trying to figure out what's going to be big, what's going to be an important story, what connects with all the other stories we've got in the journals coming out, with the different papers that people have been submitting. So yeah, that's a long answer, but it's been a long process.
In the previous interview, you asked the guests the 30-year forecast for attendance or registration. What is your 30-year forecast?
Yeah, well, I'm not afraid to be wrong because it's unlikely that I'll be held account. And I'm also I'm unafraid to play Final Jeopardy with this because, as they say, just bet it all, right?
Yeah.
That's the current strategy on Jeopardy. So my current bet is that it's going to be 12,000.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I think that may be an underestimate. Yeah, because I think where AMS is going is recognizing more and more that, especially through the technology of artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, all of the questions that we have, all the kinds of crowdsourcing and remote sensing that's going on that now involves lots of different little devices, which means society is just involved in a very different way, and other disciplines are involved in a very different way and a very different scale, really, than ever could have been involved in the 1940s or 50s or 60s or 70s at any point. So I think that this meeting will have relevance and will also need to have such a diversity of participation that if it's not 12,000, then something's very different than what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's how I see where, in order to be an enterprise that predicts risks and predicts outcomes for society, we're going to need that sort of participation. The other prediction would be that only one person will be here because it will all be done some completely different way, like remotely and by telepathy that I can't anticipate. So there's some sort of singularity going on.
Maybe some holograms.
Yeah, I think it'll be the singularity of all intelligences merging. That we won't need to have meetings, but I can't predict that. So I'll go the other way.
So it's Tuesday. I know Thursday is part of the conference, but usually Thursday everything's sort of dying down. So we have about 2 days left, I'd say, of the meeting.
2 big days. I don't feel any dying down is going to happen
I usually
until
leave
you leave.
Thursday. I know.
Yeah, that's why. Once you leave, it tanks.
The party leaves.
Yeah. No, Thursday definitely has a feeling of wind down, but there's a lot of really good presentations coming up on Thursday. So, yeah.
So I was going to ask, what is something that you're looking forward to in the next 2 days?
I'm looking forward, learning a little bit more at the sessions. I haven't had a chance to go to as many sessions as I want. I've got a lot of discussions with authors that I'm looking forward to. So I enjoy that. Because it's so exciting to see and meet with the people who are actually doing the work that we're publishing. And so I like going through the poster sessions too. I get really jazzed about that. I know it's noisy and chaotic in some ways, but just the amount of stuff. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I think my biggest interest in this field is aesthetic. So for me, looking at the figures and dreaming about what all this data means and how it visualizes is kind of the fun of it all. So whether it's looking at photographs of clouds or videos and things, the aesthetics of weather are really what grabbed me. So I think the visuals that I get to see really get my imagination going. So that's one thing. But just seeing all these people who I know the names, So I think the thrill of the convention is usually for me to walk by a name tag that I know, but a face that I never knew.
See, I'm the other way around. I like seeing the faces, but then I have to look at the name tag.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is I like to finally get the face.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
But I only know the name tags.
Yeah.
So to me, putting the face to the name tag is kind of is a thrill. There are a lot of name tags out there I'm looking for. People don't even realize.
Okay, well, we'll have a wrap up recording on.
First, I got to ask you because you're planning your exit already. But what are you looking forward to in the next 2 days? That's gonna.
It's actually tonight. Tonight's one of my favorite nights of AMS. It's probably my favorite night of AMS, especially if I've already presented and I'm not as stressed out about my presentation, which was the case this year. It's the university receptions. It's not. I guess it is technically part of the meeting, but it's not during the business hours. I think they start around 6, and I just love hanging out with alumni and people that are students that are gonna be alumni at some point. Those are a lot of fun. I go to the Penn State and the CSU one, and
this is a big family reunion week,
really
basically.
Is.
Yeah.
And I also really enjoy meeting people from Twitter that I know from Twitter, interacted with on Twitter, but have never actually met before in person. And that's going to happen. It's been happening, and it'll happen the next 2 days. And so it's not. I guess it's not one event. It's just seeing new people and old people.
You're basically saying what I was saying. You're saying you want to put the face with the hashtag.
I feel like I cheated. Yeah, the name with the handle would
the
be
handle,
yeah.
The face with the handle.
Oh, that was cheating, I guess.
I
I
like that though, because that's really what that's why you can't do remote meetings of this kind. It's just so much better to be here. Because that's really what's happening. It's what's happening in the hallway. I don't know what's happening on the rooftop. I don't know what's happening in the basement.
Party out there.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not getting out of hand because it's kind of cold. What do you think? What do you think in 30 years? Because you may actually have to be managing that meeting. You'll probably be AMS president that year. So I'm just actually probably
dictator.
At that point you'll be past president. No. So what are you going to be doing?
I have no idea. I was thinking about it. I feel like it could be. It probably will be bigger. But there's also a chance that it might peak between then, and because a lot of times you have something that's so great and so amazing, little side things start to form that might sort of take up that space. So I don't know. I don't know if I should say that, but
You're either an anarchist or you're into entropy somehow. You're waiting for entropy.
It'll definitely be bigger, but it might not. It might have already peaked, like in attendance wise, not quality wise. Obviously, it's always going to be getting better.
It is getting better, actually.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's a really good observation. I hadn't thought of that, but I mean, we talk about the meeting being better, but I think it's better on many, many levels that I would never have imagined. Like, it seemed so awesome 10 years ago, but the exhibit space is more lively and more interesting. And last night's opening was just throngs of people.
Yeah.
The vibe was really exciting, but the presentations are better because of the capabilities in the presentations, and the ideas are better. I think this just overall, that's a theme. You nailed it. It's not just bigger; it's really better. And better.
Maybe
I wouldn't have thought of that.
When you're AMS, bigger and better.
Bigger, better, and Boston-y.
The triple Bs. All right. Well, so we'll be back either on Wednesday or Thursday to record our wrap up. This sort of served as like a midpoint.
It's kind of a midpoint. Right. Yeah, we got a lot more interviews to do, though.
Yeah,
some of them behind the scenes and some of them live tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you soon.
I'll see you, Dakota. Take care. Bye.
Bye, Mom.